Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, porch friends. I do apologize. I was checking audio there, checking audio prior to getting started. Good morning, you all. It is 10:40 a.m. Good morning, porch community. Waiting for everybody to jump in real quick before I get started. Very important chat that we have real quick here. So today we are asking the big question. Are foreign powers, starting with Iran, setting their sights on the U.S.? Big question, and something that a lot of folks are worrying about. Well, while Trump roars about strikes on Iran and missiles in reserve, experts warn Tehran still wants revenge and may target U.S. bases or the mainland. Very important. And Iran's warning cyber ties, long range missiles, and covert nuclear ambitions make it more than just regional posturing. Well, I'm Paviel G, and stay with me for what this means for you and why we can't afford to be distracted. We're going to get in a little bit right now, Iran's threat to America and what's going on. What does that mean in short? Now, after the bombing of their nuclear sites, Iran publicly stated it, quote, reserves all options, including striking U.S. bases used in attack, end quote. They reserve all options. Let's stop right there, according to Washington Post and one other reputable source. Iran stated publicly, they reserve all options, okay, including not only striking U.S. bases used in attack, but also I'm sure that they'll strike mainland because they have the capacity. Their allies have the capacity. So we may think that they're allies and not in talks with them. But I think there's something more to this. So continue to listen. Satellite and military analysts warn that Tehran can strike not just local bases, but energy infrastructure or American interests globally. Now, from Gulf shipping to embassies worldwide, this can affect, this can affect all of us. We get a lot of shipping in. We have a lot of global supply chains moving around. This can hurt all of us at any moment. A recent PBS poll shows 75% of Americans fear Iran retaliation, and with good reason, naturally. Let's talk about that. Why would people fear Iranian retaliation? Well, I know it could be way more than obvious at this point, but when you are a bully, as the United States has been for many, many decades, years, and centuries, they have been bullies. And granted, there are other countries that if it was up to them, they would have taken over the nation too as well, and many other countries. We are aware of that. However, United States has been the biggest bully there is. And although I was born here, I don't know if that's any more a privilege than anybody else who's not born here at this point. I don't believe that there is. I believe that there's just paperwork, because humanity has nothing to do with the paperwork or where or what country you were born. Humanity and human respect, humanitarian aid, and all of these things should be for humans, no matter whether or not you're from this country, that country, the other country. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what color skin you are. Humanitarian response and human dignity and human respect to others should be something that is more than allowed. It should be the rule of law, which we thought it was, according to the First Amendment, to even have your freedom of speech. We thought that was permissible. But we see now that it's not that permissible. We see now that we are walking on eggshells. So this is why, Yes, welcome, Landon. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hello, McKenna. Yes, Miss McKenna. Shout outs to Miss McKenna and Landon. Welcome. I hope you all are subscribed. Make sure you all are subscribed. But of course, naturally, right? 75% of Americans are going to be a fear and retaliation because America is a bully. And so when you bully other countries or you put your nose where it doesn't belong, people are naturally going to respond. And I shall not and never have underestimate Iran. Not because I'm on any side, but don't underestimate the little person that you assume that is a weakling because you never know what they have up their sleeve. You know? Indeed. Indeed. Welcome, Miss Julie. Listen, I'm all about welcoming folks who come in, whether or not it's positive or negative. If you're here for a reason. Maybe because you want to see my beautiful face. Maybe you want to troll me. But I come here to talk for everyone. We don't take any sides here. So whether or not we are black, white, purple, red, green, or whether or not you're lesbian, gay, heterosexual, transsexual, pansexual, everyone is welcome here. So, Miss Julie, if you do not feel welcome for any reason, I want you to feel welcome, but if you don't feel welcome, no problem. But if there continues to be any type of comments in the room, I shall say, that can interrupt or distract anyone from listening to the important information, then I shall have you removed indeed. And we don't want to get into the conversation on how we all come from bloodlines of monkeys and how we all come from black folks. I don't think we want to get into that conversation, Miss Julie. So indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. And matter of fact, if you guys want to see me, indeed, I will make sure that you all see me and on my next live episode. And I hope you guys tune in. So I will definitely do that, Miss McKenna. As you can see my face there, but you'll see me in person with my hat on too as well. So, and if you want to see more of my face too, make sure you check out all my other videos. I make a lot of videos where, of course, my face is there naturally. Yes, but we don't bring in hate into the room. Oh, thank you, Miss Moby or Mr. Moby. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a Miss or Mr., but I appreciate you being here, Moby. Shout outs to Moby. We like the positive vibes. Yes. And the next time that I'm going to do the live, I'm usually on by the hour, unless I'm busy with child or cooking or anything of that sort. But I'll be on again and then I'll be on in person so you guys can check me out. And then we'll talk about these things. Okay. I'm thinking that the next live is going to be approximately probably around 11:30 to 12. But definitely just you'll keep your notifications on. I'm sure there's a way to put notifications on, I think. I'm glad you all are here. I'm very excited to have you guys here. I thank you all. And thank you, Miss McKenna, for looking out for the room, not just for me, just, because some folks, unfortunately, they're in a bad mood or they ain't got nothing else better to do. So they go into these different places, whether or not it's here on YouTube or another social media site, they go in and they troll people. And when I see people troll, to be honest with you, I'm being honest with all my listeners here. When I see people troll, I troll them back. But when I say troll them back, I mean troll them back in a good way. I let the whole entire room know that they're here. Because here's the thing. When people troll a room, it's because they're looking for attention. They want the person that's talking to give them the attention that they're lacking. So I provide them that attention by answering their comments. And so people feel how they feel, but I will never troll anybody in a bad way or a negative way. I troll them to let them know, hey, you out there that's looking for attention, whether or not it's bad or good, welcome. You are welcomed here. You can be here. It's no problem with you being here. So if you weren't welcome throughout your life somewhere else, you're welcomed here. But you're going to be welcome here with positivity, and no negativity will be allowed in the room. I let it be known and I call these people out because they want to be called out. Because I see it as this. I am a person of common sense and credibility, I feel. And although none of us are perfect, we all have our skeletons. None of us are perfect. We all come with something. We all come with some type of baggage that we ask our sins to be forgiven, etc., etc. However, again, when I see people come in that they seem that they are tormented in their soul is tormented. They have nothing else better to do, literally, and I'm not saying that to be funny. They have nothing better to do but to troll. They have nothing better to do but to come in and try to disturb the peace because there is no peace in their life. That's where this psychology comes from. And I study psychology in college, by the way. I'm also a nurse as well. I also run a few businesses. So, it's very alarming to me when I see people come in with this psychological matter. Usually it's just because they really honestly want attention and they have nothing else better to do. So when I see folks come in who they really need attention, I give them the attention that they need. If you say something to me in the comments, I'm going to give you the attention that you need. So if you put a negative comment in the comments, I am going to put you on blast and I'm going to give you the attention that you need. I want everybody in the room to know your comment. I want everybody in the room to know how miserable you may be, in order to take your precious time to come into my live to disturb the peace here. So you must need that attention. So I'm going to put you on blast and give you the attention that you need. Just so you know, for anybody in the future who listens to my lives, I am that live person to put you right on blast where you want to be. If you want people to know who you are, I am going to allow people to know who you are. So Miss Julie came in and she made it known who she was. She said, "Hey, monkey." And I let her know that's Miss Julie. And you applaud for her because she came in and let everybody know how she loves monkeys. Because if I'm a monkey, she loved to see me because she came in and she took her precious time to put a comment just so I can know that she was here and how much she loves the face of a monkey. There she is. So this is how I approach people when they come in with negative comments. I give them the attention that they seek. So continuing back with the news, I thank you all for being here in the program. If you come into the program and be negative, I will give you the attention that you need. I promise you. I'll give you the attention that you need and that you seek so badly. All right. So a recent PBS poll shows 75% of Americans fear Iranian retaliation. We know why, and with good reason. So here's a broader quartet as far as a threat is concerned. Crink. So the so-called axis of upheaval: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Well, guess what? That upheaval is building military, cyber, and intel partnerships. And in wartime, that means targeting U.S. infrastructure both physically and digitally. That's why it is so important for us to prepare. Write down your things. Don't depend just solely on your phones and your devices. Very important. Prepare your shelters. I talk about it in all my episodes. Please be prepared. Okay? Because when there's bombs and stuff dropping, what are we doing? We're being prepared. So what is Trump's dual messaging? He has this dual messaging. On one hand, Trump claims victory. Quote, "Iran's nukes obliterated and missiles intercepted," end quote, according to theguardian.com and 4 other reputable sources. I make nothing up. I'm bringing facts. On the other hand, he zones in on diplomacy. Aides holding covert nuclear talks with Tehran behind the scenes. That flip-flop, threatening war while negotiating keeps adversaries guessing, but may also invite risk. Okay, very important. Very important facts. So what does it mean for you as my listener? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for all of us? Well, risk is real. That's what it means. Risk is real. Iran may retaliate or leverage its spyware allies to make threats deeper into U.S. soil. Voices of restraint matter. Some Gulf allies, veterans, and experts warn against extended conflict. Now, your front porch focus for today. Know where the threats are. Have survival plans. Stay educated, but don't panic. Don't panic. Preparation is power. Preparation is power. What worries you more a direct strike on U.S. soil, or a coordinated cyber and proxy attack from the accesses of Upheaval, I ask my listeners. That's the porch question for today. What worries you more? A direct strike on U.S. soil or a coordinated cyber and proxy attack? Let me tell you my opinion. I believe that both makes me worry. But please comment with your opinion and share one prep step you've taken, okay? But we must stay aware, because let me tell you, I believe that cyber and proxy attack is going to happen first. I believe that's going to happen first. And I believe, in my own opinion, that after they hit that cyber and they make sure that all our phones and all the communication is wiped out, that's when there's going to be a direct hit on the mainland. And I feel that the direct hit is going to hit either the Pentagon or Washington, because they need to send a message. That's what they're going to do. They're going to send a message, but they have to wipe out our cell phones first and wipe out full communication. Then they're going to send a message. This is what I think is going to happen. This is my belief only. But I want to know, what do you feel? What are your worries? Okay, as my listener, I do truly want to know. And I want you to share those worries with others, because these are small podcasts that need to be shared. It's not those live streams that are repeating themselves a million times a day for 2 days straight. That's going to get you the information solely on what you need. You need independent sources like people like me and you and others who interact. And this is why I do these lives and I leave my comments open, because I watch my comments and I watch the people who are interacting, because we are human. That's what a live, I feel, is for. Just like a radio show back in our days in the early 80s, 90s, and all of those things. We listened, we called into the radio and we say, hey, give me a shout out. I want people to feel the same way here on this radio channel, on this program. So that's today's global alert from Iran's threats to systemic frontiers of war, my listeners. I am Pavio G. Please share this to wake up someone who's tuning out. And make sure that you subscribe for no nonsense updates. And when threats rise, we will stay loud together on the porch. So keep informed, keep ready, and see you all soon. Thank you all for being here.